that is our parting shot. The faintest pencil
is better than the sharpest mind.
Wow.
Yeah. Welcome to this forum that is Unchained Theories.
Yes.
Unchained
Theories.
Unchained Theories. Now, what is Unchained Theories? Unchained Theories seeks to discuss issues theoretical and how they impact us in common ways. And we try to, what we call, peel off the unknown things about theories and bring it in a more, what do you call it, friendly manner where people can easily understand, because theories have been aligned to academics, but theories are supposed to be applied in the common society. So this chain is all about removing them from the academic realm and bringing them to the societal realm where people can really understand.
Yeah, and what people mostly don't know is that our actions and behaviors, I think, in society are backed up by a certain theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is maybe academically proven. I'm Donald Neko, and
yeah, it's good, the introduction. You know, the introduction is not a theory. Yes. Our names are laws. So I'm Dr. Ilizadero.
Yes.
And happy to be here.
Yes, and today we are going to discuss about a few theories. To start with, we are going to start with the interference theory of forgetting, and we want to understand how it happens that we come to forget about things. And so it's important that we have Daktari here. Is going to elaborate more about the interference, what interferes with our forgetting. And to start with, Daktari, maybe you can tell us what is a theory, and maybe discuss on what it's forgetting, and we can also be able to understand how they intermarry.
Yeah, thank you so much. So these are very common terms, a theory.
Yes.
Theories, these are terms which we normally hear once, twice, but very common in society. So a theory basically is just a set of statements that try to explain a phenomena. Yeah, so for example, you can have experiments being carried out to explain a particular aspect in life, and you come up with a set of statements. So theories are not totally true per se. They are not proof, but they're just statements that try to explain a particular occurrence. When a theory is totally true beyond about them, we call it a law. For example, is the law of gravity. I'm sure very few people can actually go against the law of gravity. You can prove it. If you think it's a theory, then just stand on top of a chair and probably try to see if you can float once you're out of that kind of a base.
Yes.
Now, something about what we call forgetting. Yeah. Think of forgetting, then you think of remembering. Forgetting is the inability to remember, or probably loss of memory. If you are taught or you learn something and you're not able to remember, then we actually say that you are forgotten whatever it is that you have actually been taught. So I think probably you can take it at that for now.
Yes.
Theory, the theory is set of statements trying to explain an occurrence. Forgetting, basically in summary, is the lack of ability to remember or the loss of memory in a particular area. Brown?
Yes. Talk of interference, and maybe how we get to be interfered, our memory gets to be interfered with.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. The term interference brings the picture of an obstruction or something. Like if you are set to move on a journey, if anything comes between your original point and your destination, then it has interfered with your journey.
That's true.
And memory is also a process. Learning is a process basically. You have the initial point where you interact with some material, move forward as you get familiar with this material up to a certain point where you're able to master. So the point between the initial interaction and the mastery can be interfered with. And that's what we talk about: interference, obstruction, something that blocks the path in terms of remembering what you already mastered, or blocks the path of trying to master whatever it is you're trying to learn.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's very informative, and maybe now to know the ways that we get to be interfered with. What do you think are the types of interference maybe that we face during the process of forgetting? Yes.
Now, I'll take it this way. You know, if you remember the great servant of God called Jesus,
yes,
he liked to use parables and stories. Yes. And I'll put it in a very simple way. Now, most of us from, I think, around the world, we already know what, we already have what we call the original language.
Yes.
And then we come to learn the common language, which is normally used for academic purposes and such like things. So there's a situation where you find that a previously learned language may interfere with how you're learning your second language, the first language that maybe you to call the mother tongue. Yes. It interferes with how you're learning your second language, which could be probably English or Spanish or any other that you probably use in your setting. So when that happens, we call it proactive interference. Okay. So when previously learned information interferes with new information, it is called proactive interference. And I think for us, we had people talking, you know, if your first language was maybe Spanish or probably Zulu or even Kiswahili, and then you learned English much later, it's very easy to probably note a person who's talking English based on the background that they have. Yes. So that's called proactive interference. We also have the opposite, which is called the retroactive. And this is where we find the second language that you've learned interferes with the first language. And I'm sure for us who are in Africa, people normally move from the rural areas, they come to town and they get to learn some new language, yes, slangs and stuff. And when you interact with these people, you can really know that this person probably is learned, because even if you talk in their mother tongue, the pronunciation is normally not similar to a person who has not been to probably the cities and stuff. So you can see from the two settings, interference can occur in two ways. It can occur based on previously learned information or the former learned information, and it can also occur based on information which is learned later. Yeah.
Okay, now after talking about the interference, knowing that we have proactive and retroactive, now maybe you can tell us about the application of these types of interference theory in the world of education.
Yeah. You know, Don, education is very important. And even as we talk about unchained theories, you find that most of its application is in the education realm. So maybe as a teacher or just a parent, because you know education is not an issue of classroom activity. Education is carried out through each and every area. And it's only that maybe with the passing of time, it has come to with an experience where people think that education is limited to the classroom. But education was there. Every society had its own education system. Yes. I don't know, probably even if you recall your younger days, there are things you learned before you even stepped in a classroom.
School.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, the current society depends so much on school-based education because it's what determines where we are going. That is in terms of getting jobs, and if it is progression, if you want to move from one class to the other, it's very dependent on what you learned. And that means that memory and forgetting are very important issues. Now, how do we apply the knowledge of interference theory in the education system? Number one is by what we call the application of spacing and interleaving techniques. Now, I think I can speak a bit about spacing, and then probably we'll be able to capture what I'm talking about. Now, spacing basically entails distributed practice, or what we call spaced learning. And we are saying that, Don, today if you're given a cow, you can go two routes. Decide to eat the whole cow in one sitting. Or decide to do it in progression. Yes. Yeah, you put in a freezer and take one time or the other. And what we call spacing. Today if you're given work to do, decide to do the whole work in one experience or to space the work and do it in probably shorter period of time. Yeah, so that's about spacing. About some of the techniques which are used in spacing include coming up with a schedule. You can have a schedule, and we normally say that a schedule is now a written document or a statement on how you plan to do. Because if it is not planned, then it's already failed. I think there's a saying we talk about, if you fail to do what? To plan.
Yes,
plan to fail. Then you plan to fail. Yes, so a schedule must be established from the word go. And this schedule is what guides you as a student or even as a teacher or a parent on how to direct your studies. If you do that, then you reduce interference. Also in spacing, we talk about what we call review. And this entails regular sessions or routines where you find that when you're learning a material, you don't wait until the end of learning to take place, but do intermittent or consistent reviews of what you learn. You know, this like probably allowing yourself to forget and remember. You see, because remembering is one form of remembering is where you find yourself interacting continuously with the content. So you create a situation where you can interact continuously with a particular content, and that's what I'm talking about. Finally, we have the application of flashcard, quizzes, and stuff. So you can do them in spaced interval. You can actually, in a school setting, you can form a group with your friends where you do what? You set quiz for each other. Huh? Where then probably you have 3-4 people and you agree every other day. Don't take a week. Just do it on a 2-day or a daily basis. Have short quizzes, 3-4 questions, and then you can do what? You can discuss with your friends. That also actually improves your memory.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Yeah. Initially I talk about spacing and interleaving. Interleaving is also another method that you can use to prevent interference. Yeah, and this is also very important. So interleaving basically entails mixing alternate sessions, or what we call avoiding extended periods on a particular topic. And now, instead of just spacing your activities, you can also decide to do a mixture. Now, this is what I mean. In the school, the Kenyan system, we normally have, I think, like in any other country, we find that we have so many students studying so many subjects. Yes. So what we're saying is don't have a specific time for particular subjects. But if you have a study schedule, maybe 2 hours, you have a timetable, you're saying that 2 hours I'll do biology, 2 hours physics, 2 hours mathematics. In that 2 hours, you can decide to divide the time to different lesson areas. For example, you can say in the 2 hours, you can have 45 or 35 minutes doing mathematics, 35 doing physics, 35 doing chemistry. Within the 2 hours,
Yes.
Yeah, so you mix and you do it repeatedly. So if you have 4 hours of study, you'll have done 6 content areas instead of only 2, probably in a 2-2-hour basis. And now these 6 that you've done is such that you've done them repeatedly. So you do a bit of bite, a bit of something, and then probably allow your mind to chew it. Okay. And then take something else as probably it is digesting the one that you bit earlier. Yes. And that is done in a cyclic manner. Now we also have what we call the comparative analysis. And the comparative analysis, in this case, you study and contrast different concepts. And you know something about contrasting is that you really contrast what you not understood. So when you want to compare two things, you'll first of all force your mind to understand what they are.
That's true.
You see?
Yes.
For you to compare two people, you must know their characteristics.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you see, when you do that, you're actually assisting your mind to remember.
Yeah.
But you're now taking something a bit higher. And I think that's very important for us to note. And finally, still under interleaving, when studying multiple subjects, you can switch between subjects within a study session rather than actually separating them for each subject. So we're saying that within a subject, you can have different topical areas. Yeah, within the same session.
Yes.
Yeah, you can have topic 1, coming topic 2, topic 3, and then you go to another subject, topic 4, topic 5, or topic 1 to the same side, the other subject, so forth and so on. So that means that what you're trying to do is, as I was saying earlier, they're just related. You're trying to jump from one space to the other without necessarily having to take so much time in one thing. But now it's good to take note that the initial study time must always be quite extensive. Because you see what we're looking at here, somebody may ask, you're asking me to study something for only 30 minutes and leave it. How am I supposed to understand? Because there are some concepts which need a lot of time for you to understand. So what we're trying to put up is that the initial study period must always be extensive.
Okay.
I want to understand what is the Pythagoras theorem. So my initial study period will take a lot of time. It may even take an hour or two. But the moment I understand, I'll now be doing consistent reviews. And these consistent reviews are what are going to prevent my forgetting. Because of always interacting with this content. Yeah, so it's good to take note of that. Initial study time may be more, but the subsequent reviews are what actually may take a shorter time. Yeah, so that is very informative also, and I've learned one thing that it's always if it is not documented, then it is not doesn't exist. Yeah, you know, the wise man said that the faintest pencil is better than the sharpest mind. Wow. Yeah, I think they will agree with me that there are things you do in probably primary school, primary classes, even pre-primary. And if those books were kept well, you might have been scribbling very funny things. You can still find them. And you can still identify those funny heads of cartoons you're drawing. But if you're asked about those things, you can't remember.
I can't remember. That's true.
Yeah, so it's very important document. Yeah. Very important. Yeah.
That's true. So that is our parting shot. The faintest pencil
is better than the sharpest mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you subsequently. And be sure to get a lot of educational information on the same. And there are so many theories. We are looking forward to unravel them and make you understand why we live and act and behave the way that we behave in society. So thank you very much. And hope you catch our next episode.
Thank you.